though.
The hand wringing, you know what? The rest of the league should be frightened.
I do like
They're
it.
not running the ball well. Yeah. They're not throwing the ball well. We got a graphic that shows the difference in their offensive line, which has always been their strength. Look at the rankings at pod position last year versus this year. So that offensive line isn't playing well. And yet, they are 4-0, having beat Sean McVay, the Kansas City Chiefs, McVay and the Rams, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And Spagnuolo
and the Cowboys.
Yeah. Spagnuolo and Todd Bowles are two of the best defensive minds in the league. And without anything clicking, they're winning. Like, wait till it starts to click. Yeah, Philly Eagles, y'all shouldn't worry at all. Don't let the hand wringing get in your head, because that's what they did 2 years ago with the supernatural funk. It was the same thing.
I think you got to throw the ball to A.J. Brown.
They should. I totally agree. I'm not that high. From what I've seen from Petula so far, I mean, I'm not liking it.
What about the fake tush push?
That was nice, but they should definitely be throwing the ball.
I haven't seen, you know what?
Intermediate.
Let me talk my shit again. What it do? This is the Talk My Shit Again podcast. I'm your humbly hostile host, Cassius Cliff. We're here for the pregame show for the Week 5 matchup against the Denver Broncos tomorrow at the link at 1 p.m. And if you heard what Chris Broussard said, I loved exactly what he said. Not only do I love it when someone echoes what I've been saying for a while, so I guess I love to feel smart. I love to, be right. But more importantly, what he showed in detail firmly confirms what I've been saying. We understand that the play calling has not been up to par, especially when you consider what we've seen in the past, what we have on the other side of the ball when it comes to a guy like Vic Fangio. I mean, there's a huge disparity between our offensive and defensive coordinator. It's not even close in terms of experience, effectiveness, impact, ability to, adapt in game, all those things. There's a huge chasm between the two of them. Aside from that, understanding that no matter if you're calling the best plays at the right time, without the offensive line doing their job, it's incredibly difficult. It's hard for Saquon Barkley to be able to score touchdowns and get big runs if the offensive line is not blocking well. He showed the comparison between last year and this year. Obviously, no B'Kai Becton, so that, you can't take him out of the equation, but comparing him to Tyler Steen, still a difference. And ultimately, this is what we do by category. It doesn't matter for pass blocking, run blocking, the win rates, where our offensive line is ranked in general. It has not been good. And I know we're dealing with injuries to Landon Dickerson, Lane Johnson. Those guys have not been healthy probably since week 1. Or rather, Landon Dickerson has not been healthy since week 1. Lane Johnson the last 2 games. So we understand that. But as an entire offensive line, we have not been good. And to me, the saving grace, aside from the fact what our defense has been doing, has been huge when they get into turnovers, stopping teams on 4th and 1. Special teams stepping up. I mean, we've had 2 players of the week, Jordan Davis on special teams, week 3, and then Quinyon Mitchell just last week in week 4 against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So when it comes to the other phases of the game, we're doing our job. We're handling business. The last infinity stone we need to collect is the offense. And this is, to me, our saving grace, aside from being 100% in the red zone, 11 for 11. Our quarterback is protecting the ball, and he's highly efficient despite the huge numbers that are not there. There's no big numbers, but yet that's the truth. The truth isn't in the yards that are attained in the game. It's in how effective you are, your passer rating, and what Jalen Hurts has done again, which is be the first to do anything or to do something specific. And what he's the first to do in NFL history is to be the first quarterback in the first 4 weeks in the NFL season to throw 5 passing touchdowns, have 4 rushing touchdowns, and not a single interception. People like to talk about what Justin Herbert has been doing, even a guy like Dak Prescott, which is the most hilarious part about this, comparatively. People are talking about Dak Prescott having an MVP-type season right now. Not only has he turned the ball over that helped result in loss when it came to the Chicago Bears, throwing 2 interceptions in that game, he is 1-2-1, and people are saying he's playing at the MVP level. This is what we're dealing with right now. Narratives drive the conversation, and people make whatever narrative they want to drive whatever conversation they want to have. And ultimately, when you talk about the frustrations for A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, it is not about the quarterback, and ultimately, it's not about the targets. It's the fact that the passing game does not look good. It would be different if one guy was going off every week, and we know it's going to be one guy and not both. Neither guy is having huge impacts on the game, and that to me is the biggest travesty of it all. But again, play calling can be an issue. Blocking as an offensive line can be an issue. The fact that we have both, that's why we're seeing what we're seeing. We're seeing a high school offense with Pop Warner blocking. It's just not been fun as an Eagles fan to watch the offense, and there's no way around that. That's just the truth. But when you're learning what you need to learn in wins and you're still winning games, you're still undefeated, we're in a place of luxury. That's champagne problems right there. And I firmly believe we'll turn it around later than soon. Rather, sooner than later. Sooner than later. We're not even going to take that. Sooner than later, we're going to be learning from this. I promise you that. And, I mean, we just got to show it because it's too evident to me. I'm not asking or expecting Kevin Patullo to call plays like Shane Steichen because clearly they're not remotely the same when it comes to how they see the game, how they call the flow of the game. But showing different looks as an offense has huge implications on how effective you can be. There's but so much Jalen Hurts can do when we're constantly running out of shotgun. We're not starting plays from under center. We're not even calling play action plays. When it comes to calling play action plays, we're tied for the least at under 10% per game. That to me is insane because everybody expects us to hand the ball off to Saquon Barkley. They saw what kind of season he had last year. And we're not running play action plays. And we're not running plays from under center. I mean, I promise you, I don't think that I know everything about football, but those two simple things I'm sure would have huge impacts on how the offense is able to be effective. I just know that through understanding football. I coach Little League, and this week was our first dubs in the chat. Both my teams won a game today. I have two little girls teams, 2nd and 3rd grade. And again, this is a different sport, but it's clear. You got to put your players in position. You got to show teams different looks. You cannot make it easy on the opposition. You're playing into their hands. And that's exactly what we've seen from Kevin Patullo in this offense. Because ultimately, this is what we can see from Saquon Barkley when the play calling is at the right time and ultimately the offensive line is blocking the way it should be. I understand that the injuries that we had from Lane Johnson as well as Landon Dickinson have a huge impact on our ability to block better, and has a trickle-down effect. But with good blocking, this is what we get, and the proper play calling at the right time. I don't expect A.J. Brown to be any less frustrated after this week because I firmly believe Patrick Surtain will be on his hip all game. That's what I expect to see from him. He's a guy that travels. He's the former reigning Defensive Player of the Year at cornerback, one of the best we've seen in a long time. I firmly believe A.J. Brown is going to be, if not in the gulag, in hell, just because of how we call offense, and really, we don't necessarily force anything. So what does that say to me? A guy of Devontae Smith, Smitty, the Slim Reaper, to absolutely go off against Riley Moss. I understand that Riley Moss went to the same college with Scuba DeJean. They're both white cornerbacks, but they couldn't be further apart. Riley Moss should not be respected on that field on Sunday. We should absolutely disrespect him. He should be targeted a hell of a lot. We know that the Commanders and what they had defensively 3 years ago, because this is from 2022, when we had Shane Steichen, we understand that defense was not great. But why we're watching this clip right here in this highlight reel is simply to show when your skill position players are put in favorable positions, this is the kind of production you get. 12 targets, 8 catches, 169 yards, and a touchdown in the red zone. We heard from, what's her name, Donna Tortellini, whatever her name is, put out an article about our receivers complaining and being frustrated about targets in the red zone. The only touchdowns that our receiver had are in the red zone, so clearly she's making something out of nothing. But everybody, when it comes to the players, the coaches, people that analyze the game are frustrated watching this offense And really, to me, the only people that are not frustrated are Nick Sirianni and Kevin Patullo. I firmly believe Jalen Hurts is frustrated because the offense does not look the way it should look. Look, we're just too skilled, too dominant on the outside, at tight end, at running back, to be having shootouts and ultimately to be begging for points. We should not be in that position week in and week out. And that, to me, is twofold. We need to block better, we need to call better plays, and we need to be diverse in our play calling. Or we're gonna have a long day when it comes to these Denver Broncos in that defense. I firmly believe that. When it comes to this matchup and what this defense presents to this offense, which is playing right into what they've seen all season. I mean, they're not allowing over 100 yards passing per game. They're just at 100 yards rushing and allowing only 16.8 points per game. Aside from the points per game, that's pretty much what our offense is doing. So if we decide to come out there not swinging, throwing a vanilla game plan out there, especially given the fact that the Denver Broncos love to play man-on-man coverage, which plays into what our receivers do best, especially a guy like A.J. Brown, despite being matched up against PS2, Pat Surtain 2, throw the man the ball when he's one-on-one with Pat Surtain. See what Pat's going to do. I understand, I respect what he does, but we're just too talented on the outside. We're too talented as an offense to be begging for points every week, to be begging for production, for our receivers to be frustrated, one guy being cryptic online and one guy being direct when he's asked these questions. If you want any answers in terms of what Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown feel, go watch their pressers. Go watch them being interviewed by the beat writers. They'll tell you all you need to know, and honestly, they didn't need to tell me anything because I'm frustrated watching. I've seen our offense be potent in that game against the Commanders where Devontae Smith almost had 170 yards. Jalen threw for only over 300 with 3 passing touchdowns. And if you saw right there, a red zone touchdown to Devontae Smith on 4th and goal. So again, these things are well within our reach and they're possible. It's not hard for us. And I'm going to say it again, as I already said, when you're tied for first, when you're tied for the lowest play action plays in the entirety of the league with who knows what the hell the Falcons are doing. They're clearly not a good team. They don't know what they're doing on offense because they should too be calling play action plays with Bijan Robinson in the backfield. So both of these offenses they're being impacted by coaching malpractice when it comes to calling offensive plays. You have great running backs. You're not running play action plays. I don't know what you're thinking. You're not starting plays from under center. What are you doing as an offense? This game is hinged on what the offense does or doesn't do tomorrow. If the offense is bland, we're not scoring, I firmly believe we're going to lose this game. And we might lose by 2 scores. We might lose by 10 points. But if the offense decides to be aggressive, to be dominant early, to put our guys in favorable positions, to allow our quarterback to throw the ball, because clearly he can throw the ball, we win by at least 7. I'm going to call it right now, 27-20 at home against the Denver Broncos. If not, be prepared to lose by 10. This will be won and lost on the heels of the offense because the defense and the special teams is what it is. They come to play when we need to play. This is going to be on the offense going against such a tough defense in Denver. Mark my words on that. If you have not done so already, like, share, subscribe, as well as comment. It goes a long way. Thank you in advance. Share this with a Denver Bronco fan. Share this with a fellow Eagle fan. Share this with an Eagles hater. Do what you need to do, but definitely share the content. This is the Talk My Shit Again podcast. I'm your humbly hostile host, Cassius Cliff. I'll be seeing y'all very soon. We out to the next one. Peace.